Well, at least it was better than the prequels. And that's honestly my main takeaway from this show. It's not great by any means, but compared to the prequels, I may as well have been watching Breaking Bad. At the end of the day, I am glad that I can just look back on this show whenever I watch A New Hope instead of Obi-Wan having the high ground or whatever. It was also just nice to see Ewan McGregor play Obi-Wan Kenobi in something that isn't one of the worst things that's ever been made by humanity, and that's saying a lot because we did the Holocaust. Okay, by the way, can I just be? I want to clarify something. I'm largely joking here. I don't really care that much about Star Wars. I just trying to be funny, be a little funny here. So I'm not like I don't get it. Yeah, the prequels are bad. Like I'm serious about that. But like I don't. If you like them, that's fine. If you don't like them, that's fine. It's just my opinion. I don't says chill. I will say I was completely wrong in my review of episode 5. I thought we weren't going to get the big battle between Vader and Obi-Wan. I thought that we were going to get like a Last Jedi situation where they were going to subvert our expectations, but I was a moron. They did it. Whatever. But in my defense, they clearly established in episode 3 that Vader is just completely outclassing Obi-Wan at this point. So it was kind of lame that Obi-Wan just like magically is like, I'm actually awesome now and I can totally fight Vader. And I get it. It's because he's now like a selfless hero again and he's in tune with the Force. But does that really is that really enough to make him be able to now physically face Vader again? Like is that really a thing? Because it's like episode 5 explores the idea that Obi-Wan isn't the master because he can physically beat Anakin. He was the master because of Anakin's immaturity and his anger and his need to win. That was his weakness. And to be fair, this episode also explores that. Vader just lets the rebels go and create the rebellion just so that he can go be petty and fight Obi-Wan one-on-one. But again, it's just a little inconsistent to me that they then just had Obi-Wan come in and be like, yeah, I'm awesome. I can totally beat Vader and stuff. But listen, I got my complaints, but I'll be hot dog damned if that wasn't the best lightsaber fight that I've ever seen in a Star Wars thing ever. I don't want to comment too much about the lightsaber fights in the original trilogy because it's been so long since I've seen them, and I'm actually doing like a chronological Star Wars watch through. Like, I decided to just jump into Vader because it's a relevant thing, or because it's a relevant show. But I'm currently up to the Bad Batch, so I'm currently watching that, and then I will get to the original trilogy. But my main problem with the lightsaber fights in the prequels is that it just feels too choreographed. I feel like I'm watching a ballet dance instead of two people fighting. This lightsaber fight was awesome. It felt raw, and it felt like just two people actually fighting and not surfing on CGI lava. And Ewan McGregor, again, gives a fantastic performance when he realizes that Anakin is truly gone. It's just Vader at this point, and, he still can't bring himself to kill him. You also get that awesome shot where Vader's mask is broken and you can see Anakin's face behind it, where you can kind of see like Anakin is speaking to him, like Anakin is coming out, and like Hayden Christensen's voice is kind of blending in with the James Earl Jones voice, and it's a really cool scene. I also like the encounter with Uncle Owen, and Aunt Beru, and Reva. I know that I know that a lot of people are like super mad because there's this epic battle between Obi-Wan and Vader, and then it like cuts to it gets to like Uncle Owen throwing pots at Reva, but I liked it. Uncle Owen was really great in the first 2 episodes. Like his just complete commitment to keeping Luke safe is actually really badass. Seeing him stand up to Obi-Wan and Reva just made him a really cool character. And I like that since Reva was damaged in the last episode, it's actually like kind of conceivable that they could kind of stand a chance against her. Also, I kind of got the feeling, and I'll give credit to the actress as well, because I thought she was really bad at first, but they've kind of been giving her a little more depth in these past few episodes with like the revelation that she was a youngling in Order 66, and the fact that she's actually just been trying to kill Vader. So still not great characterization, but they're giving her a little bit more to do. And I kind of got the sense from the actress's performance was that she didn't even really like, she was just angry at this point at herself for not being able to kill Vader, and like out of her anger she was gonna try and kill his son because she couldn't kill Vader. But it's like when she's fighting Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, it's like, I don't know, I just kind of got the feeling that she wasn't even trying necessarily to kill them, right? And I also think that that's part of the reason why Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru got as far as they did in that fight. But yo, listen, when, when like I think Reva comes in and Aunt Beru just comes in and smacks her with a pan or something. I was like, yo, you got to put some respect on these guys because they're going for it. And we got a nice send off with Leia and Luke. This kind of explains how I guess Leia met, or the show explains how Leia met Obi-Wan. I know I guess there's again, I haven't seen the original trilogy in a long time, but I know people are there's a little bit of an inconsistency because in A New Hope, I guess, Leia mentions Obi-Wan as, hey, Obi-Wan, you helped my father during the Clone Wars. Can you help me now? And she kind of like speaks about it as if she had never personally met him. But then apparently there's a comic where Leia, or where it's like confirmed that they decided that Leia needed to pretend that she never met Obi-Wan. I don't know. But it is what it is. I mean, this entire series is a retcon, right? Like just inserting the series in to be like, this was actually the last time that Vader met Obi-Wan. It's like, at that point, it is what it is. I don't know. I'm not gonna get too pressed about it. And then I guess they're also establishing that Luke did meet Obi-Wan, although I'm guessing that they didn't end up developing a relationship or anything. My guess is that he just gave him the toy. That I think, does Luke have the toy in A New Hope? I thought I read that's on Twitter somewhere or something, or I don't know, but yeah, I guess he does meet Luke, but he doesn't build up enough of a relationship with him that when Luke grows up, he doesn't know who he is. So I can kind of buy that. Also, I mean, listen, apparently in 10 years, Ewan McGregor is supposed to turn into Alec Guinness, which what is this man going through in the next 10 years that's going to make that happen? That's I need a season 2 just to explain that. I feel like he needs to have like a Yoda / Palpatine-esque battle so that he just completely changes his appearance. And yeah, overall, I think my biggest complaint about the series overall is that the side characters just kind of suck, and the production value isn't as good as I would like an Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars show to be. That being said, I'm the kind of viewer that it's like, if I start watching something and the production value isn't great and the special effects aren't great, my brain is just kind of able to adjust it and accept it. But I know that's a big complaint from a lot of people, so I'm not gonna like, I totally get that. But then there are also some parts where, like episode 4, where it's like, no. This isn't that you have bad production value. You guys are just incompetent here. Like, you can go watch my review of episode 4. I don't need to get into it, but it's like, it's just the choreography of the fights and the staging of the fights. And I'm like, you guys could be doing this better than you are. I don't think this is a budgetary issue. I always go back to Netflix's Daredevil. That's a show that they probably made with like some pocket change that they took out of their pocket, but the action is the best action that we've ever seen in a Marvel anything ever. So it's not like it's not always a budgetary thing. It's also a, hey, did you put in the work to make it good? So that I think those are my two biggest problems in the end. And as far as the side characters, like Riva, they kind of started doing some interesting stuff with her at the end, but overall, a miss for me. Leia was good at the beginning. I quite enjoyed her, but in the latter half of the series, they just like ran out of stuff to do with her. Um, and then, like the Rebels, they just didn't make me care enough about them. I was like, oh, I guess I'm sad that the lady died. I guess I'm inspired that the leader got a speech from Obi-Wan. I guess. I'm sad that random guy got blown up in episode 4. They just didn't do enough with them. And yeah, like overall, like with these 6-episode limited series that Disney Plus has been doing, whether it be Marvel or Star Wars, some of the biggest criticisms that they've gotten has been that they're either too long and then they should have been movies, or they're too short and they should have gotten more episodes to expand upon some of these storylines. I think this is the biggest example of this should have been a movie. Like, you should have made like a 2.5 hour movie, just to have it focused on Vader and Obi-Wan. Because that's the thing. I like taking apart all the production value and the side characters and stuff that I didn't like. I think they did a really good job with Vader and Obi-Wan and justifying this story as being an important one to tell. In between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So I like it overall, because I came into this wanting to see Obi-Wan, wanting to see them justify why this show exists. I think they did that. I just think there's a lot of extra fluff that really brings it down. So overall, I enjoyed the show. It's not great, but at least now I have something okay. Like I have decent stories with Vader and Obi-Wan to think back to when I watch A New Hope. I'm glad that now I don't have to think back to Revenge of the Sith as the last time they met. I can now think back to this. So thank you for that, I guess. But overall, man, these Disney Plus shows, they just need to do better. It's just not good enough. I mean, whether it be Boba Fett, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, like I'm listening to the feedback on these shows and I'm looking at Twitter. But yeah, overall though, man, I think Disney Plus really needs to start doing better with these shows. The production value and the storytelling is just not good enough. Like I overall I enjoyed Kenobi, but when I look at the feedback for it online and like with Moon Knight and Hawkeye and Book of Boba Fett, I wonder if these, as the kids say, mid shows are going to really start hurting these franchises. How many mediocre shows is it going to take for people to start just losing interest in Marvel and Star Wars? I don't know. Just some thoughts I've been having as I delve into the cesspool of negativity that is Twitter. And actually, speaking of that, at the end of this video, I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with the review of the episode, but I did just want to speak on something that I did. So, it really happened with Moon Knight. I think that's where like that was like the nail of in the coffin. But I'm really starting to get sick of like discourse when it comes to these like big popular Marvel, Star Wars, whatever shows, where it's just all to be made so politicized by people online, where like I'm watching Moon Knight and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. No, it's not great, but it's just pretty good. And it's not that I mind people being like really hating it and really being down on it, but like when I go online and it's like all the discourse that I see is people getting mad because Layla stole the show, like it was a Layla show now. And that's just such a ridiculous opinion to have. Like, okay, like just I don't want to go into Moon Knight, but like if you watch that show and you thought that it wasn't a primarily show focused on Moon Knight, and that this is the term that they like to use, like it was a bait and switch where they like tricked you into watching a Moon Knight show and then gave you a Layla show. I question whether or not you're being a good faith actor. Like, it was a Moon Knight show. It was absolutely a Moon Knight show. Layla wasn't even in like 25% of it. Um, and that's the thing. Like, the discourse just seems so just obsessed with being about like anti SJW nonsense. And then even in like Star Wars, it's like it's not even necessarily focused on that. It's just like, oh my gosh, like people are just so incensed, and it's just like if you like the show, you have like you love it, and everybody else needs to love it too. And if you hate the show, you hate it, and everybody else needs to hate it too. And you can't no, nobody can just go on Twitter and be like, yeah, the new episode is pretty good. And people can't just go on Twitter and be like, ooh, this episode was pretty bad, and then move on with their lives. It's like they can't do it. It's impossible. I and and so yeah, so it's like that. And that I don't care too much about, because it's just people expressing their opinions. Even if it's too much, it is what it is. It's like the politicization of everything. I didn't pronounce that right, but who cares? Where, like, bro, I just, if you really think that like there's like a nefarious plot to like put black people in a show, and they only cast the actress because she's black, if you think that they're like, if you really thought that there was a nefarious plot to like trick you into watching Obi-Wan Kenobi and then make it about a black character. Now, first of all, I mean, what I would ask you is, let's say there is a plot to put more black people in things. It's like, why is that a bad thing necessarily? Why is it a bad thing necessarily for an artist to want to make more show about, whatever they want to make it about? Why are you like trying to regulate that? So that's my first question. And my second thing is, if you watch this show and you didn't think it was an Obi-Wan show, if you really watched this show and you were like, this is just a Reva show, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like your media literacy is just not up to par with where it should be, because it was an Obi-Wan show. It just was. He was the focus. Like, I don't know how anybody can think that. It's like people don't know about the concept of like a side character. I don't know, but anyways, I'm rambling, and it is what it is. But what I did, because before Obi-Wan started, I already saw it happen. People were already talking about how the show is a bait and switch, and they're gonna trick you into watching an Obi-Wan show, but it's actually gonna be about the black lady, and it's bad that they're trying to force black people into media. I saw that discourse starting, and I was sick of it in Moon Knight. And what I did was, you know what? I don't care what any of you people have to say about Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't. So I went on Twitter and I muted all the terms related to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because I was just like, I just want to watch the show, and I'll make my videos talking about it. And I don't care what any of you have to say. I don't. Now, there is one thing that kind of got through my defenses. Back when Moses Ingram, the actress who plays Reva, she put out an Instagram video talking about how, she's been receiving a bunch of racist messages. That got through my defenses because, people weren't using the terms that I had muted. And then I did talk about that because that turned into a really big thing. But overall, I just want to say, watching Kenobi and not listening, not paying attention to the discourse made watching the show so much more pleasant. Now, you can watch my reviews. I'm not saying that like I don't like criticism, right? Because like I criticize the show plenty, I even criticized, Moses Ingram's performance even before it turned into a big thing. But I just don't care about what any of you have to say. So I just wanted to add this at the end of the video just to say, if you're someone who's also sick of the discourse when it comes to popular media, when a show's happening, just try muting terms about it on Twitter. just like don't pay attention to it. It makes the experience of watching something way better. And like, cause not that any of this sways my opinion, right? Like, not to say that that I wasn't high on Moon Knight because of the discourse, and like I'm not super high on Kenobi because of the discourse. Like, I'm still able to formulate my opinions easily about things. It's just a much more pleasant experience. So I'll leave it at that. Sorry for rambling at the end of this video. I wanted to talk about all of that. I've made other videos talking about it, like you can hear me talk about the Moses Ingram situation. I thought that was really stupid. And that okay, I'm still going. That situation in particular. Anybody who either just didn't say anything or didn't go, "Oh yeah, those racist comments are bad." I'm like I saw a lot of like creators, right, that saw that situation and didn't when they didn't just say, "Oh yeah, those racist comments are bad." Like, that's the only take that you should have there. I saw a lot of creators out there, a lot of YouTubers, right? People like, like Nerdrotic, I think, and like that Star Wars girl. You know the people that I'm talking about. Now, I'm not, no, to be clear, I don't remember the specific creators that I saw. I just know that I saw them. So if Nerdrotic or that Star Wars girl, if you weren't a part of this, of what I'm about to say, I apologize. But people like that situation happened, right? Where Moses Ingram was like, "Hey, I got some racist DMs. That's bad. Racism bad, and I'm going to call them out." The fact that people took that, because then afterwards, like, the Star Wars Twitter account was like, "Hey, racism is bad." Then Ewan McGregor went out. He made a little video. He was like, "Hey, racism is bad." The fact that so many people took that situation and felt the need to like jump in front of the bullet to run defense and be like, "Well, I'm not a racist. I just didn't like the character. That's why are you calling me a racist?" It's like hold on. Either people's brains are so just mush. They're just mush because of this this anti-SJW rhetoric brain rot, that they can't handle seeing somebody say racism is bad without feeling personally attacked. Like, the fact that they can't separate, like, "Hey, I think this actress's performance is bad, but it has nothing to do with her being black." The fact that they can't believe that while simultaneously accept that racism is bad and calling out that racism, the fact that they can't just distinguish those two things, it means that people's brains are rotted or they're bad faith actors. Because at no point did Moses Ingram say that all Star Wars fans are racist. At no point did Ewan McGregor say that all Star Wars fans are racist. At no point did the Star Wars Twitter account say that all Star Wars fans are racist. In fact, the Star Wars Twitter account clarified, and they said that it is a vocal minority of people that are saying these racist things to Moses Ingram. The fact that people didn't either just go, "Yeah, racism is bad. Good job, Star Wars," or because that's really, at the end of the day, that's just the bare minimum. So it's not like they deserve a round of applause. The fact they just didn't say anything. The fact that they had, because of their agendas, because of like, "Oh, well, we need to push the narrative that Disney is woke and bad." The fact that they had to go against the grain in that instance, I'm like, you know what? This discourse just isn't worth. I just don't care. I do not care about what any of you people have to say about the show. Like, I'm not saying I'll never participate in culture war discourse, because I will, because it's fun, and it's fun enough to engage in it. But when it gets to the point that, like, I can't even watch a show, like, I can't just watch a show and just appreciate it on its own merits, and it has to go into all of this nonsense, that's when it starts becoming exhausting. Okay, I don't know, whatever. I went on a ramble. I probably don't even make any sense. What did you think about Obi-Wan Kenobi? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did Kathleen Kennedy again build a time machine and go back in time and destroyed your sandcastle when you were a kid and ruined your childhood with the show? Did she do that? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, like the video, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified whenever I upload. Do it, please. I want to be a YouTuber. That's when I grow up. So please do all the things. Yeah. Bye.